Hello again, everyone. I'm Charles Gross.
And I'm Leslie Hogan Blake.
Welcome to Two on the Aisle. Please like and subscribe to our channel.
Today we're going to be talking about An American Daughter, the revival that's currently running at the Signature Theater. For more than 30 years, Wendy Wasserstein was the first and only female voice on Broadway since the 1950s, when Lorraine Hansberry's play Raisin in the Sun was there. But in 1989, the Heidi Chronicles had Wendy Wasserstein's name on everyone's lips because it was Broadway and a female writer. And a lot of us were very happy because it had been a long time, not since Lillian Hellman in the 40s. So she wrote about unhappy young women in Uncommon Women and in the Heidi Chronicles. And then came a play called The Sisters Rosenzweig, in which she wrote about slightly older, but not particularly unhappy. They were well-to-do, and they were doing okay. Women, they had problems, but, they weren't unhappy. And then came a play called An American Daughter. She is the great-great-great-granddaughter of Ulysses S. Grant. She lives in Georgetown. She is married to a Jewish liberal professor. She is the daughter of a Southern conservative senator. Her best friend is a Black Jewish oncologist. She herself is a doctor. And her other best friend is a gay Republican. So you now have a setup for, I guess, hilarity to ensue. A lot of stuff ensues. This is a political feminist play not loved by the male New York critics of the day.
There were male critics who liked it. I know because I was one of them. And had you seen the original production, you would have liked it too.
I did
I
see the original production.
And did you like it?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, I do
I
remember.
went to see it because one of the stars, Lynn Thigpen, who played the Black Jewish doctor, was a good friend of mine, and she won a Tony for the part.
And she was excellent in
Yeah.
the role. This is a play that I enjoyed very much then, and I enjoyed this production also. You mentioned the gay Republican friend, he's a columnist. What you left out was that gay Republicans were the most despised character on Broadway at the time. I think the trend started with Angels in America, and Wendy Wasserstein continued it, and he causes a lot of problems because the husband just inadvertently mentions that whenever she was called for jury duty, she would generally be excused. But one time she didn't answer the summons because the summons was misplaced and the court never followed up on it. And Morrow, yes, his name is Morrow, so that they could say, "Good morrow, Morrow." That's part of the play's humor. Kind of runs with it, and it becomes this big issue. The inspiration for this show was Hillary Clinton. When Bill Clinton was running for president for the first time, Hillary said something to the effect, "I'm not going to be a first lady who bakes cookies." Well, that was a whole to do. And a week later, there was a news story. Hillary Clinton is baking cookies.
Well, but it wasn't just the cookies, it was also the political aspect of the women who were being thought of for cabinet positions who it turned out were not paying their undocumented nannies Social Security. And that suddenly became a big to do. And they were both recalled.
My favorite character is the Jewish doctor. She's an oncologist, but when she's asked, "Oh, are you a gynecologist?" she says, "No, I'm an oncologist. I specialize in uterine and ovarian cancer, but I could have been the kind of doctor who treats non-female parts like eye, ear, and throat." She's going
Yes.
through a midlife crisis. She has one wonderful scene. She talks about redemption on Rosh Hashanah and how you go to a river and throw your sins into the river and redeem yourself. And she decides she's going to commit suicide by throwing herself in the river, only to remember that she knows how to swim. That,
It's a big visual, a good thing in this play is when she drags herself across the stage, soaking wet, wearing the same clothes that we had seen her in earlier, and she's dragging little pieces of seaweed and whatnot behind her. Part of the Potomac comes in with her. And yes, it was a very good visual.
I,
It's
I
true,
like
it's beautiful, beautiful. I have to say, the set, I wanted to live there. Gorgeous, gorgeous living room. of a well-to-do person in Georgetown in the 1990s.
I like the play between father and daughter. He's a conservative Southern Republican. She's a liberal who lives in Washington, and yet they are there for each other. They
Yes,
don't agree
there's
on
a lot of
anything,
reaching.
but they
Sorry.
love each other and they support each other.
Well, and it's a time of when people reached across the aisle. It's a time of John McCain. Also, that's Dakin Matthews, a fabulous character actor who's been around for 100 years, and he plays the father. He could do that in his sleep. He's so wonderful.
Right.
And his fourth wife, whose name is Chubby, which is hysterical since it's played by the incredibly svelte and gorgeous Mary Beth Peil, who is the stillest person on the stage. Everybody else acts the furniture. They pluff pillows, they move tchotchkes, they pick things up, they hold a cigarette badly, they move ashtrays, they move furniture. But Mary Beth Peil just sits gently in a seat, and your eyes don't leave her because she's so lovely and still. Direction note.
The interesting thing is, I did not pick up on the furniture. What did you think of our leading lady, our American daughter?
Well, therein lies my problem. Jean Lichty, the artistic director of La Femme Productions, is the star of the play. We've spoken to her. We did an interview with her a couple of years ago during the pandemic when she did Night of the Iguana, and she was fine in Night of the Iguana. Here, she has to carry the entire play, and I feel that from the beginning to the end, it was a misstep. I don't know whether it was the casting or the direction, but I felt she was doing a bad Katharine Hepburn impression all the way through. And because the play rests on her shoulders, it didn't make the mark for me. The ancillary characters, I mean, Robert Sean Leonard, Montego Glover, Ryan Spahn, and I mean, those are wonderful character actors. We've seen them in many, many productions, and they all did magnificent work. But there was kind of an empty space where the American Daughter should have been.
I did not at all pick up on Katharine Hepburn. I felt that she needed to show a little more emotion. She's always so happy. And that's appropriate for this character, except when it's not. And ironically, the only time, she gets upset is when she's doing an interview trying to put the scandal behind her. It seemed a little strange that that would be the only time when she wasn't pleasant.
I know why I thought it was Katharine Hepburn, because there was a review of Katharine Hepburn once that said she ran I think it was Dorothy Parker, by the way, who said this, that she ran the gamut of emotions from A to B. And
Yes.
I felt that Miss Lichty sadly did the same thing. Her range was limited, and it limited the character. Again, I don't know if that's direction or if that's acting ability. I don't know.
I reluctantly have to agree with you. That said, I am still a male critic who likes this play and who liked this production. And I will give this production 3 3/4 playbills, although I went in expecting to give it more.
I, given that it was the longest 2.5 hours of my life, that I felt the direction was very misplaced. I really did not feel that the director did any of her actors. Sarna Lapine, James Lapine's daughter, I do not feel that she gave any of her actors, except Mary Beth Peil, the wherewithal to do what they needed to do. I'm going to give it 2, and again, reluctantly. It's a female oriented company. They do female oriented plays. I hate like hell to be a female dumping on it, but here I am. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I'm sorry. I just didn't
Well,
enjoy it at all.
I am hoping that this will open the door for revivals of some of Wendy's other works. I would love to see Sisters Rosenzweig back in New York.
We saw a revival of Heidi Chronicles, and it was very dated. I have a feeling that some of the early feminist stuff is going to seem very dated. Maybe in another 20 years it'll be camp, and then people will be able to watch it again. But I think it may be too soon. I'm not quite sure. I just
Maybe
I
maybe
have
for Heidi Chronicles, I don't think so. but Sisters Rosenzweig was not really
No, no,
a
Sister
feminist
Rosenzweig.
play, and that
No, Sister Rosenzweig, I agree with you, would be a good play to revive. I wasn't saying it wasn't. I was saying that the earlier two, I'm not sure about.
okay,
Again, with the people that sort of someday we're going to do great things, okay.
okay, and that
I
is
mean,
our
we've
show.
had liberation. I think because we've had liberation, you know, I think we can see the jump.
I agree with you. Uncommon Women and Others is probably dated, but I think some of her other works, well, I'd still like to see them. And that is our show for tonight. When you go to the theater, look for Leslie and me, us too.
On the aisle. I'll be the female.